These are all the tools you need to change the cleat on a Streamlined RDM mast extension. That's a Phillips head screwdriver, a 3/8 open end wrench, an 8mm wrench, a utility knife, a small regular screwdriver, a pointed implement, a hammer, a toothpick, and some masking tape. Okay, step one is remove all the screws on the side of the extension, like you can see. And don't lose any of the parts. There's a little brass bushing inside that latch piece. And this one has to screw out a long ways. So sometimes you want to use a drill. But it's better just to do it and be patient. You should try to remember how this comes apart so you know how to put it back together. So in order to get the black plastic out of the tube, use some sort of implement to pry it, to get it started at least. And then it comes out. And now the rest of the pieces inside are loose, but they need to be coaxed out a little bit. And so there you have it. There's one more bushing in there. So now you got to take the cleat off the tube. You can start by taking off this outer nut with an 8mm wrench. Actually, you can use just about any wrench to do that one. This one you need a 3/8 American or an 8mm wrench to hold the nut inside and unscrew it from the outside.
Not 10mm.
I'm sorry, a 10mm or a 3/8. The assembler helped me out here. And now the cleat comes right off. So now we're ready to put it back together. In case the cleat was hard to get off, sometimes corrosion freezes the screw in there. You could tap it off with the hammer. That's why we have the hammer here. And now we're going to put it back together. The first thing you do is put in the long screw with a slightly bent end on it. The next thing is you put on the little cleat casting. Now you put on one washer, one bushing, one pulley, two pulleys, and a bracket shaped like a Z. And then the other, maybe you put a nut first, and then we'll put the other screw and nut on loose. You can tighten that one a little bit, just to hold it while you're assembling the other one. And so now tighten it up and you're ready to assemble the European latching assembly.
Part.
Okay, now we're going to put the European lock assembly back in the tube. You're going to have to watch closely and be patient. The first thing you do is you take a toothpick and cut it off the length of the hole in the extension, or the inside diameter of the extension tube. The second thing is you put a little tiny piece of masking tape over the screw hole on the slider piece. Believe me, this is what makes it easy. It's a tricky thing to do, but once it's in there, it's really good. So then, if our assembler let us see what he's doing, you set it up like that and put the spring over the toothpick, and then you put the bushing with a step on it with the skinny part up. Let's see what it looks like. You want to have that look right there. And you want to make sure the cleat is on the side laid out just like it is. And so now we're going to install the slider mechanism. Compress the spring with a screwdriver carefully without, and push it in with the other hand a little bit so it's compressed in the tube. Now you're going to slide it up until that bushing pops out of the hole. It's a little bit tricky getting it past the cleat, but sure enough it works. And he uses a little thing to pop it in place. Now he removes the tape. And now we can put the push button and the long screw back in. Of course, you put the red button piece on and the bushing before you do the last bushing. I don't know if you can tell, but we have this all with marine grease on it. Often we set them up this way, but if you ever have a chance to use marine anti-seize grease, it's a good idea on all these parts. Now we put in the plastic bottom again and put in the lower screw, and then we'll put on the little safety latch and be sure and put the little bushing in there first. And we're going to screw it down tight onto that brass bushing so the latch is allowed to go back and forth when we're done. Can you demonstrate that? And demonstrate that the button, it actually works. So there you are. Thank you.